Welcome back, pet parent. Today's going to be just us talking today because I woke up with something on my heart that I've been thinking about it all week, and I said this morning when I woke up, you know what? We're going to talk about it because one of the things that I have hoped to do with this podcast is to help educate pet parents, to help show pet parents that there is another way outside of conventional veterinary medicine, sometimes alongside conventional veterinary medicine. I have tried to have as many veterinarians on as I can to kind of show that no, I am absolutely not against veterinarians, but yes, Kim is confirming. I am not against veterinarians. But that is actually not the point of today's episode. I have intended this podcast to be educational for myself as much as everybody else. And what has been heavy on my heart lately is that I know with the vast amount of information that there is to be consumed, that it is still really overwhelming and really confusing. And I never intended to be part of that problem. Hey there, it's Jess. If you're new here, I'm a certified professional canine nutritionist, raw nutrition certified for dogs and cats, a holistic pet health coach, the founder of Wild Wellness Pet, and the host of the Pet Parenting Reset podcast that you're listening to right now, where every pet deserves the absolute best, and every pet parent is welcome. Learn from the best holistic and integrative experts in veterinary medicine and nutrition every Tuesday right here on this podcast. Or get individualized help with your pet through one-on-one consultations and take a deep dive into the root cause with the Wild Wellness Bioenergetics at-home testing kit. It's time to rethink how we raise our pets, a reset to naturally healthy dogs and cats. If you've been feeling like there has to be something more, something better, a better way to raise healthier pets, welcome to the Pet Parenting Reset. I have intended this podcast to be educational for myself as much as everybody else. And what has been heavy on my heart lately is that I know with the vast amount of information that there is to be consumed, that it is still really overwhelming and really confusing. And I never intended to be part of that problem. And so we're going to talk about a few things today. And I realize that that is probably breaking rule number one. We should only have like one singular focus when we're communicating, but that's just not the case today. So I know how confusing it can be because honestly, sometimes I still get confused. Sometimes I still get overwhelmed with just the sheer number of foods and supplements and opinions that do not line up. And I think it is good practice for me to have people on whose opinions may not line up, because then we get to see both sides of the coin. Sometimes there are more than two sides, but at least both sides of the coin, and we get to make those decisions for ourselves as to what we feel is going to be right for our individual animal sitting in front of us right now. And that's kind of the point of all of this, is to make the best decisions we possibly can for the animal sitting in front of us. And so to me, having more information is power. Knowledge is power. And it gives me a place to step back and say, you know what? I know this. Know so many different things, and I can put the pieces together and I can make my pet's life better. I can make my life better. Because I have taken the time to learn so much, just like you are doing right now by listening to this podcast. You're taking the time out of your busy day to educate yourself on something, and something more than maybe you knew before, or maybe you're listening to something that is reminding you of something you already knew, which is probably what today's episode is all about. And so it was never my intention to add to the overwhelm. And I want to put this out into the universe and for you to listen to hopefully help some people understand that, yes, there is a lot of information on this podcast. And if you go back to the beginning, there is a boatload of information on this podcast, and none of it is meant to be overwhelming for you. And yes, every person, every brand, every sales rep, every whoever that comes on any podcast has their own bias, a lot of times their own agenda. And I think for the most part, a lot of the guests I have had on, well, yes, they have a brand or they have a product that they are talking about. Generally speaking, we try to keep the topic of conversation generalized around what about that product is actually good for certain pets. And so that we can then take that information and say, is this or is this not going to be something that is going to benefit my pet right now, or maybe not right now, maybe in the future. And all of that to say that I understand that the landscape of food and treats and supplements is overwhelming, and it is never my intention for you to buy and try every single thing that we talk about on this podcast. And I know that can be hard. We wind up with these supplement graveyards, right? And I have been there. I know what that is like, and I know how hard it is to get out of it because you spent so much money on all of it. It's even hard to throw away when it hits that expiration date. I know. I've been there. So I want to acknowledge, first of all, that there is a possibility that I have added to the overwhelm and confusion, and that was never my intention. And I hope that I have created a community where you know that you can send a DM to me on Instagram or send a message through my website at the Pet Parenting Reset, or if you're ready to even book a one-on-one consultation with me. And we can clarify and pull back probably a lot of what you're currently doing with your pet. That is, and I think the reason that this has been so heavy on my heart is because that is one of the things that I tend to do a lot with my one-on-one clients, is actually looking at everything that's being done and stripping it all away and kind of going back to the basics. And that's one of the things that I have been trying to do in the recordings that I've been doing lately, is figuring out those basics again, right? Water, clean, fresh water, light. That's something that I'm starting to realize the importance of as well. Our windows are blocking a lot of the UV rays, and sunscreen, all of the things, like actually getting the full spectrum of light is so important to our bodies, to our pets' bodies. Clean, healthy soil to ground in. There are so many things that we can do for free that are truly bringing us back to nature, cleaning up our environment, that I really want and hope to, especially with my own like one-on-one clients, kind of bring everybody back to basics and start from there. Is that to say we would never use a supplement? Absolutely not. There are incredible supplements out there, and I do think that in some instances we do need to supplement just because we live in a toxic world and our food doesn't provide the nutrients that it should, or that it used to. And like there are so many things that, yes, I do think we are ultimately going to wind up supplementing, but I really wanted to put this out to you, to anybody who might hear it, to the universe, that it is my intention to help people understand that we need to get back to nature, that we need to get back to the basics. And I'm saying this to myself as well. This is not just for you, just for your benefit. This is also for my benefit, that bringing everything back to basic foundational, how are we supposed to live and harmonize with nature, including what is a species appropriate diet for us and for our pets. Those are two different things. And even somewhat different for our dogs and cats. Dogs being facultative carnivores, cats being obligate carnivores. We have to be even stricter with what we're feeding our cats. And getting back to how can we best harmonize with nature? And yes, there are a lot of free ways to do that. And in some instances, if we're not able to do that, there are some great devices and supplements that are going to help us kind of bring that back without bringing that back. If that's, I don't know, that makes sense in my head. So, and maybe also I have been building at wildwellnesspet.com, I have been building an apothecary that is very strict. Like, I am not putting things there that I would not give my own pets. And the whole goal to begin, like, the reason that I started this, my goal was to provide, like, as much as I can, a one-stop shop for the things that I'm recommending to my one-on-one clients, because you know, you're going to 10 different places to get 10 different things because nobody has it all. And so that's been my goal all along. And then I'm realizing as I'm building this that, well, one, I'm hopeful that it can help people outside of my one-on-one clients understand that only things that I actually would give my own pets are going to be in this store. And it's not done yet, by the way. If you go there right now, I am slowly adding products there. But it truly is something that I think we all struggle with shiny object syndrome, with, oh my gosh, the testimonials that this company is putting out are amazing. And I want that for my pets too. Being able to take in all of this information and actually step back and say, that's amazing. Will it actually benefit my animal right now, today? Sometimes that answer is yes, and sometimes that answer might be no. And so that has just been really, really heavy on my heart that I wanted to get out and across to you today, because I understand that overwhelm, because I still get it sometimes. And I have been getting it building out the online store for you and wanting to make sure that I am not putting products out just because the product exists. Like, that's not the goal. The goal is to create an environment where if you find this, if you find a product on my website, you know that I think it's the best of the best. But also, I want you to ask yourself, is this actually something that's going to benefit my pet? Or am I just buying something shiny and pretty because it could help some pet? Is it going to help your pet? So that's kind of one of the things I really wanted to talk to you about, is just having that discernment for, yeah, it's an amazing product. Is it going to be amazing for your animal? And that answer might be yes, and that answer might be no. And also, is it the best use of your funds? Because that's the reality we live in today. I often have people asking me, saying, I have limited resources and I want to use them to the best of my ability to help my pet the best I can. And I just had a conversation with somebody on DMs the other day who was like, I think I want to buy your test. Well, okay, let's talk more about this, because you're telling me that your resources are running thin. You've spent so much money at the veterinarian's office. As much as I would love to sell you a test, and I know there's benefit to it, is it the right thing for you right now? Maybe, maybe not, right? That's something that I want you to think about before you buy anything else. We live in such a consumer driven society, and I am right there with everybody else. I am just as guilty as everybody else. I am actively trying to change that about myself, because I have too many things. I know I have too many things. I don't need all these things. And so many of the things I buy, I don't even, for my pets even, I don't even use. I say thank you, no thank you to so many brands offering to send me things because I know I'm not going to use it. And I didn't used to be that way. I used to be like, yeah, I'd love to check it out. And I'm not like that anymore because I can't use it all. And I want to make sure that whatever I'm putting in and on my pets' bodies is actually because I think it's going to benefit them and not because it was some shiny new object in front of me. So, as a business owner, this may be the worst thing I could say to you. I don't know, but it's the truth. It is my truth that it is not my intention to just put products out there and say buy them, buy them, buy them. I'm trying to be very intentional about building this website, about building the storefront, about educating as many people as I can to buy what is you feel is going to be best for your pet based on the information you have. If I can provide you information on why that might or might not, maybe another product would be better for your animal, I would love to do that because I hate when we try a product, it wasn't the right product for our animal at that time, and then we think it's not a good product. That may not be the case. It may be an amazing product, and it may not have been what your pet needed at that time. And the more I learn about traditional Chinese medicine, traditional Chinese veterinary medicine, the more I am realizing that there are so many subtle nuances that most of us are not taking into account. For example, as much as I love Totonics and I recommend it to a lot of people, it is venison blood, which means it is warm on the energetic scale. And if you have a dog that is overheating, that may not be best for your dog. Um, on the opposite side, raw goat's milk is one of my favorite things ever. It is damp and it is cooling. If you have a dog that is freezing inside, it may not be the best thing for them. So that is true of so many things. So many things. And we could go on and on and on about probiotics, but I actually think I'm going to bring a guest on to talk to you about probiotics because I am no longer as enamored with them as I used to be. There are very few that I would actually recommend anymore. And I don't think every animal, human or otherwise, needs them all the time, every day. I think we need to be more discerning with a lot of the supplements that we are using and giving to our pets. So that is kind of my thank you for coming to my TED Talk today. um, and to make this not all about me, I decided that what I'm going to do for the rest of today's episode is to give you a clip. Kim says yes. A clip from a recent recording that I did for Pet Health Junkies. This is not the full episode from Pet Health Junkies, but we were talking to Mary Beth from Teddy's Turmeric, and we were just talking about her dog and kind of discussing. I was very hesitant at first to interject my opinions, professional or otherwise, but it was asked for. And so I started talking about how we can actually help her pup in different ways from what she had been thinking in the past. And I think that this topic is very relevant to a lot of people because it addresses a lot of the marketing that we have been told for so long about find one food and never change it. And, we are afraid of GI distress. And you know what? In some cases, yes. And in some cases, we have to remember that we don't go to the doctor every time we have diarrhea. Sometimes the body just needs to get something out that shouldn't have been there. And sometimes we just get an upset tummy. And other times it is more serious. Exactly, Kim says. So with that, I'm going to give you the rest of the episode, the clip from the episode from Pet Health Junkies. You'll be able to find the full episode if you want to go back and listen to it on the stream for Pet Health Junkies. And yeah, with that, I'm going to go ahead and sign off, give you the rest of that episode, and say to give your pet some extra love from me this week. And here is that clip.
And I have another question, and then
Sure.
I'm going to shut up and let Pam and Jessica say, say something. But um, what did you, and you don't have to talk about it if you don't want to, but
Okay.
did you change Teddy's diet along the way,
Y-
or
Well,
did he off?
yeah. So I never really fed him much of much kibble. It was
Yeah,
always rice and not table scraps. It was chicken. It was ground chicken.
real food.
And Teddy would eat anything. Unfortunately, my sweet little cubby is allergic to a lot, so we're very, very, very limited in what he can eat. So we're pretty much ground turkey, blueberries in the morning, lentils or rice, and then at night the same thing, but with carrots or peas. I was giving him lamb, salmon, which we had him tested twice, and he's allergic to lamb and salmon, if you can believe that. He's allergic to sweet potatoes. I've never met a dog that's allergic to so much. So, um, I'm not against kibble because um, I was giving Teddy or both Teddy and Cubby a little bit of kibble, just ground up, just for extra vitamins, especially for Cubby because he is so limited in what he can get. But if you have any advice, and I know that you have your own health food store, pet store, I'd love to know. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm happy to help. I deal with dogs that have tons of food sensitivities all the time.
Mhm.
Um,
Really.
and yeah, just helping with the gut permeability
Yep.
and
Huge.
getting that back on track.
Yep.
So yeah, but it is interesting how many dogs today have tons of food sensitivities.
Hmm.
Because we should be able, and we talk about this all the time, we don't get sick when we change. If we eat fish one night and beef the next night,
Right.
we don't get sick.
Right.
Why our dogs shouldn't either.
Mhm.
Right.
So it's yeah, we that's one of the, like, the biggest myths that the pet food industry has been very successful at telling consumers is find a food that works and don't ever change it, and that's like the worst thing we can do
Yeah, I agree.
for our pets. But I love the ingredients that you're using. I know, all like the turmeric, the cinnamon, the ginger, these are in Chinese medicine, these are all also resolving stagnation,
Mhm.
Mm.
which is very interesting for, I mean, a lot of animals, but certainly cancer, anything phlegm, any nodules, any lipomas, any, like, this is stagnation in the
Right.
body.
Mhm.
We have to move the lymph, we have to move things through our lymphatic system, um, and otherwise everything is just staying right there in the body, like, our toxins are building up, and it's really damaging to
Yes.
us, to our pets, and
Mhm.
so yeah, I'll just throw that in there. But I'm curious, Pam, the only thing that I know, and I have not tried this, but I learned it from somebody who has been a pet health coach for 30 some odd years before anybody ever even thought about pet health coaching. Um, and she's very holistic and knows so much about Chinese medicine. And she says that anytime she has to give cats anything that they otherwise would not eat
Uh-huh.
or touch, powders, she will usually put it in ghee and cats
Oh.
will eat it.
Oh.
So I'm wondering, Pam, if you have any suggestions since you are our resident cat expert.
Yeah.
Well, that's a very good idea, like butter, ghee, cream. Um, yeah, it depends on the kind of diet they eat. Like if
Mm.
you're fixing a bowl of if you're warming up a bowl of raw food and it's just, a big old mixture, like
Yeah.
we have 6, so we're 2 big bowls, and I can pour supplements in there, good size amount from the scoops and mix them all in and they don't know it's there. Um, so I would, it depends on what they're eating. And I would just start with a very tiny amount and
Hmm.
feed it sardine juice, tuna
Hmm.
or, something super stinky that cats really like, and every cat can be different. So I would say to the people that have tried it with their cats and weren't successful, I would say try a different method. I would, you know, try the tuna water, try the sardine juice, try literally a pinch and mix it into their entire food, and
Hmm.
that it's not overwhelming, as a full dose or whatever, just to kind of introduce it, kind of sneak it in there and introduce it, and then get them used to that. And they may or may not even sense the taste of it.
After a while, right?
You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And then
That's a good idea.
increase. I mean, that's what a lot of people have to do when it comes to introducing supplements to cats, because cats are neophobic. They don't like new things. So it could be just an energetic block to something different and new that they're not familiar with.
Hmm.
Mm. But if you can get them to if you can mask it and hide it in food in very tiny pinches to start with, then you could slowly increase that
Right.
amount, 'cause they're not even gonna be phased because they get used to it as they go. So that would be
That's
my
a
suggestion.
that's a great idea. Yeah, that's great.
Yep.
Especially in the stinky sardine or tuna, they're not going to notice it.
Yeah, mix it in really good. And I think so many times people start with the full dose if they have a cat that's super picky, and it's not that the cat's necessarily picky, it's their survival instinct. They
Mm.
try new things because they're not sure if it's safe. Um,
Ah,
so it's more of an instinctual self-preservation mode, I guess, if you will.
that's
And
interesting.
cats they get imprinted on their food when they're young. So if that's another reason why it's so important to rotate and mix the diets, because some cats or even dogs can just get so hyper focused on one thing. And then when you try to change it up, they're very super resistant. So yeah, that would be my suggestion.
I love that idea. And I feel terrible that I only feed Cubby a certain, the ground turkey, but I've tried everything. I've tried the lamb, I've tried the salmon. The only thing I haven't tried yet is whitefish because I'm not sure where to get it really. Um, but you can't do pork, you can't even do beef.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But then when I did a second allergy test, they did say salmon meal, but not salmon. So I know what salmon meal is, but I don't know if I want to do
Hmm.
that because the first one said he was allergic. I did two different tests. So
Yeah.
what would you all suggest with
You're
that?
going to have to test probably every 6 months when you.
Really?
Yep,
Really?
and,
Okay.
just because I think I wanna throw this out there for you, but also our
Mhm.
listeners, just because there's one test that says that Teddy is allergic to A, B, C, D, or in this case, Cubby
Yeah.
is allergic to A, B, C, D, E, F, that does not mean that that is forever, and
Mhm.
that
Okay.
is the biggest, mistakes that, people
Well,
well, that we
and that
hear.
yeah, because there is a big difference in an allergy and a sensitivity.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
so an allergy test is something that you're gonna do through your veterinarian. It's usually a blood test.
Okay.
And that very, very, very few true allergies
Yeah.
actually exist in animals,
Okay.
but a sensitivity absolutely will change.
Okay.
Yes.
And, this is actually something that I'm super, super passionate about because bioenergetics is technology
Hmm.
and it's relatively new. Most veterinarians don't believe in it or trust it. Um, and I don't necessarily fault them for it because it's technology and every company has different technology. So you're going to
Hmm.
get different results from
Oh,
each company. So I have vetted a bunch of them. None of them are 100%, but again, we're dealing with energetic sensitivities and not allergies. So
okay.
they change a lot. And I actually, the one I use, I um, not only look at food and environmental sensitivities, but nutritional imbalances, hormonal imbalances, and organ system stressors. So I use a lot of Chinese medicine in the interpretation of the testing, but it's interesting. We do have to work on gut and immune health, and those sensitivities
Yep.
will diminish over time.
Mhm.
I
Yes.
love that. I
Yeah,
love that.
and
So
Yeah.
that's an important thing to remember because some people forget to go back and retest after they've done 6 to 8 months worth of gut health work and
mhm,
working on gut lining and all that, and then you can go back and you can retest. But if you've fixed if you've plugged all the holes in the gut and you've cleared out all the inflammation, then the body shouldn't continue to be reactive to something.
yeah,
So
Right.
give it some time and then go back and check,
yeah,
and then start reintroducing after 4 to 6 months, in tiny
yes,
amounts and see how they do.
That's a great idea. I
Mhm.
have been trying to reintroduce a little bit. He's got such a sensitive stomach, and
I think that's
so
important.
but again, I think it is probably a good idea to get him tested again just to see. And he's getting older, so I'm sure as he gets older, that changes. I mean, we
Well,
found out
well,
a couple of years ago he has a thyroid issue.
yeah,
mhm.
work on
You
healing the
might
gut
wanna talk to
first.
Jessica
Yeah.
offline. It
Mhm.
really I think
Love
that
that.
Mhm.
you would she's a wealth of knowledge and can help you. And, one of 2 things, I'm so glad that the girls brought up gut health because it has to be gut first. And nutrition is key, keeping
Hmm.
out toxins from the
Right.
environment or for flea, tick, and heartworm, heavy metals and shots. I mean, all of those create toxic loads.
Right.
You have to support the critical organs that are, they receive this barrage of toxins every day. What are we doing to support, you know, the body? But going back to the gut, that would be we oftentimes, I mean, and by oftentimes I mean like almost always, there's no discussion about gut health where pet parents are being told let's do this $500 to $1,000 allergy test, and again, no pork, no beef, no chicken, no
Hmm.
da, and but we're putting band-aids on things as opposed to going really to the crux of the matter and the source of the
Right.
matter, and that's where
Mhm.
somebody like these two ladies can help. And we help in my store, but we don't do it to the level that they do. We often refer out, to people like Jessica and Pam, and
Mhm.
um, you know,
Wonderful.
but testing is critical, and it doesn't have to be super expensive. To
Mhm.
sensitivity tests, there are a lot of them,
Right.
and and they're not cost prohibitive when you compare what you're paying in clinic. Um,
Sure.
And then, but starting with the gut is huge. So, just personally, advice for you, Mary Beth, is, if we're not doing something to address Cubby's gut health,
Hmm.
I would 100% tell you to
Start.
visit that.
The
Mhm.
I mean, the only thing that I'm doing is the probiotic, of course, and then
And those are not all created equal.
I
Listen,
agree with you 100% because actually think he itches more when he's on it.
yeah,
So I'll stop it and I'll try another one. I mean, I really haven't tried another one. Then I was doing the yogurt, but then when I got the sensitivity test back or the allergy test, said he's allergic to Greek yogurt. So
yeah. I'm
I'm
not
at
a
a
huge
loss.
fan of the Greek yogurt.
No, really.
Oh, I mean, I like it, but I'm very
There's
we're
better
all
things.
on which one to use. I mean, there's
Mm,
one that I will buy at the health
mm,
food store, and I
uh-huh.
don't use it often. There are a lot of hidden sugars in yogurt.
Yes, right.
Um,
Agreed.
and when you're talking about pre and probiotics, you want multiple strains of
Uh-huh.
different bacteria.
Uh-huh.
And just like when you're talking about feeding an appropriate diet, complete and balanced, you're talking about rotational feeding. So
Uh-huh.
we don't eat chicken, 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 chicken. I mean, I bet
Right.
if we did one day, we're going to be probably sensitive to chicken.
Mhm.
But with going back to pre and probiotics and the different strains, it's just there's so many products on the market
Yeah.
that we even encourage rotation there as
Okay.
well.
Mhm.
Great.
There's
I
just
love
not
it.
enough in yogurt to make a significant difference if you ask my opinion.
Mhm.
I
Better
agree.
I
better
feel
things
ya.
out there. It's
Yeah.
not going to I guess let me say this, and it's not going to fix the problem.
Mhm.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Well, I'd love to pick your brain about which probiotic I should try next because I think he has a little sensitivity to the one because whenever I put him on it, he'll itch, and then I take him off for a couple days. The itch goes away,
Mhm.
and I've tried a couple, so I just don't know where to go with that either.
I
Yeah.
think for, listeners, um, you have to look at the ingredients, and a lot of products on the market have fillers in it.
Mhm. Right.
Yep.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
here's a shocker. Maybe he doesn't need a probiotic.
Yeah.
Well,
I was gonna say that.
so to
That's
be honest
true
with you, I
too.
haven't had him on one in 2 weeks, and he
Yeah.
hasn't been itching.
Right.
So
Maybe maybe
Because
that's
okay.
it.
we can overdo things and create
Yep.
SIBO if we're using the wrong stuff. So
Okay.
yeah,
That's
Good.
so
Good to know.
don't freak out that or worry that you're not giving one. Just if his
Okay.
body is not reacting now, then I think you're probably better
Okay.
off. Mm-hmm.
Good. That's good to know. Very
Mm-hmm.
good to know.
Yeah. Yep.
You
Yeah.
you ladies are a wealth of information, that's for sure.
Well, our pets have taught us a lot.
It's true.
They
It's
have.
very true.
For better or for worse, right? So,
They have.
Absolutely.
mhm.
all
Absolutely.
all done a lot of trial and error in our time.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Absolutely. And
Mhm.
some things work, some things don't. So, and
Mhm.
going back to the all natural, I mean, I'm absolutely all for all natural options, and it works with the body better. It
Yeah.
just does. It works with the body's healing processes. And I'm not saying I'm not a pharmacist. I prefer to do natural and pharmaceutical, but there's sometimes when you have to do pharmaceutical, and I understand that.
Mhm.
But why start with that? Why?
Yeah.
That's my question for any pet owner who's faced with that. So
Absolutely.
there's no side effects to anything natural.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Exactly. So
Well, I love the conversation. Thank you, Mary Beth, for being here with us today. I think turmeric is definitely underrated.
absolutely.
I think a lot of food I think is underrated in general. And so anytime we can talk about it, then I think the better. Just reminding people, like we have shiny object syndrome, where there's a new supplement that this brand put out, and there's a new supplement that this brand put out, and there's a new food that brand put out, and we all want to try all these things because they're new and shiny and wonderful, but the things that nature provides us, like that often is just going to be the best.
I agree.
Mhm.
100%.
Yep.
Yeah.
100%.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing your
Yes. Thank
product.
you.
I can't wait to get some and try it.
Yeah.
Please, yeah, send me if you can. Send me your address. Anybody who would like to try it. If you want to try it with your cat, Pam, try it in
Thank
the
you.
salmon or the tuna oil. Let me know. I'd love it. So
Yeah, that would
absolutely,
be a great follow-up to
Just
see if she can get
yeah,
a cat.
we can
Yeah.
do it.
it would
Here.
be. It really would be. I'd
Absolutely.
love it.
Yeah.
So awesome.
Awesome. Well, guys, check out Teddy's Turmeric Tamer. And I'm sure any of us that try it will post about it as well. I'd love to hear your comments and feedback on it, or if you have tried it, that's amazing. Let us know. Thank you so much for being here with us today
Yeah.
to talk about it. And thank you, Mary Beth, for joining us and for, one, just taking a step back and saying, no, I can help my dog when my veterinarian isn't going to. And for then taking that a step further and saying this can help other dogs as well. So
Mhm.
thank you so much for
Well,
that.
thank you. And if I can offer your listeners, whoever goes to the website, use Teddy 10 for a discount on any of the
Nice.
products.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so
Yeah.
much.
Thank
You're
you.
Yeah,
welcome.
we
Thank you,
appreciate it.
ladies.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, y'all have a great rest of your day. Guys, thank you so much for listening. Please give your pets some extra love from all of us today, and we will talk to you next time.